On my very first spec build, I wrote a check for over $8,000 for a job that I thought was already finished, only for the city inspectors to prove me dead wrong, and I had already lost all my leverage. That wasn't even my only mistake. A simple oversight in plans cost me months of delays, and a sheer lack of systems was slowly draining my profit margin every single day. These are the unfiltered, expensive lessons from behind the scenes, and in this video, I'm sharing the 3 critical mistakes I made on my very first spec build so you can learn from my mistakes. So stick around, this is the advice I wish somebody had given me before I got started. Mistake number 1, permitting. So I had originally planned for a single level home to be placed on this lot and just a few weeks of permitting, as that's what's pretty typical in my area for a build like this. So I set our budget, set our timeline, and thought, great, we're on track. I should have known to expect the unexpected. Once we received our permit, I sent our surveyor out to stake the footers of this floor plan, only for me to discover the harsh truth. This house was not going to fit on this lot. The footers were all the way up against an adjacent alleyway of this property, leaving zero room for error. And it was just not something I was comfortable with. I mean, the side of the house would be right up against the alleyway. So the single level dream was dead, and we had to scrap the plans, find a new, narrower 2-story floor plan, and go all the way back to the starting line with the city, costing me not only months of time, but thousands of dollars in permitting. And as frustrating as burning cash and time on an empty lot was, it was nothing like realizing that you had paid for a job that could have compromised the entire structure of the home. Mistake number 2, approving payments without verifying work. Now this one stings. The house was framed. Being a beginner, I thought everything looked great. The framer sent over the payment request. He said his guys were finished and ready to move on. So I did what I thought was best, trusting him, and I sent over the payment. Over $8,000 for labor. Lo and behold, a couple days later, city inspector comes out, and sure enough, we failed. We had to make some corrections in order to proceed, and suddenly, I had an issue on my hand. I needed to have the framer come back to correct these errors that we needed fixed in order to proceed with the build. However, I had already paid him, so I had lost all leverage, and he no longer had that sense of urgency to come back and correct the job that he should have had right the first time. So I was in a bit of a bind. I broke one of my cardinal rules. Never pay somebody without ensuring the job is done right. So quick question, and let me know down below in the comments, what is the scariest part to you? Trusting the wrong contractor or losing money in the timeline? Now eventually we got the framing fixed. I had another framer come in and correct all the issues, ensure everything was properly done, had the city inspector come back out, pass with flying colors, so we were good to go and move on in the build. Now, one thing that experience showed me is that I had an even bigger problem on my hands. My entire project was being run off phone calls, text messages, and emails, aka chaos. And I had no systemized way to ensure my project was being run in an efficient manner. So my timeline and profit margin could have been compromised. Now that leads us to mistake number 3, which is having no system for oversight. Now, a day here and a day there may not seem like a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but over a long-term build process, those tiny errors are where your profit goes to die. Next thing you know, you're weeks, if not months, behind schedule and thousands of dollars over budget. Here's a real example. You text the plumber, you confirm a start date for a job, then he reschedules, then he does it again. Next thing you know, a 2-day job just stretched into a 2-week job, throwing off all of your other scheduling and putting you way behind. Later, you forget to specify that a vanity light is supposed to be installed in a bathroom. That's a $500 fix to open up that finished wall. So this isn't just a scheduling problem, this is a system failure. When you're managing a 6-figure project, you simply cannot run it from your inbox and your phone. I learned on this first build that I needed a single source of truth and a scalable system. Without it, my project had dozens of tiny little errors that led to us being way behind schedule and thousands of dollars over budget in areas that we should not have been. And ultimately, those few things are what can separate a successful, efficient project from a failed nightmare. So let's recap the 3 rules this first build taught me. Number 1, be the chief risk officer and include contingencies and buffers into my timeline. Number 2, never approve a single payment without a past inspection or verifying the work with my own eyes. Number 3, build an efficient, scalable system that will keep my project on track. Now, these mistakes cost me time, they cost me profit, and they cost me a lot of stress, but they gave me an education that I literally could not have paid for. And now you don't have to make those same mistakes. I broke down the full budget for this first spec house in a previous video, so I'll include a link below in the description for that, where you can also grab a free PDF of all of my actual costs on this build. If you're interested in this journey and want to see how I'm applying the lessons from this first build to future projects, be sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. Thanks for watching.